Hey everybody, this is your old pal Chuck, and I am back with another review. And today we're taking a look at from the Transformers Generation Selects line. This is Super Megatron. Megatron was a more of a Takara initiative in the Generation Selects line, and is actually based on a version of Megatron that only appeared in the Japanese comic books, Transformer comic books, in the mid to late 90s. Now, to give you a general summary of him, and please understand that this is a general summary, I am not going into detail, so if I'm wrong, correct me. But don't just start filling in all the detail that I left out and felt that I was wrong in not doing it. I'm just doing this as a little summary. But basically, Unicron grew frustrated with Galvatron's failure. The most recent one left him frozen in a iceberg somewhere or ice cave. So I guess using the aura of Megatron that he had stored from formatting him into Galvatron years ago, Unicron created a new super powerful Megatron. He was a triple changer, had almost unlimited power, and was really designed to defeat the Autobots. First thing he does is go to that cave where Galvatron is frozen and completely destroys Galvatron. He's ultimately defeated by the Autobots because that's what happens. So then he becomes Ultra Megatron, which basically looks the same as Super Megatron with a couple cosmetic differences. Even more powerful, even more evil, yada yada, and still gets beat by the Autobots. Now, while drawings and schematics for Super Megatron have existed for years and years, before this point, the closest we got to a proper Super Megatron was the Transformers animated Leader Class Megatron, that Huey helicopter, double-bladed helicopter, that was sort of based on those designs. This is actually much closer, and I think the most accurate version of Super Megatron we will get outside of a completely new mold, which this is not. Believe it or not, this is a heavy retool, actually not so heavy once you take a look at it, of Titan's Return Voyager class Galvatron. Kind of interesting. Megatron to Galvatron, back to Megatron. So yeah, one other thing I want to mention as we're taking a look at the jet mode is I now get it. I now understand where the movie designs for Megatron in the first two films came from. While not accurate, I think there is a clear homage to the Super Megatron design in those first two films. The first film, if you remember, Megatron was a flying Cybertronian jet, and here we have it. And in fact, if you compare the designs, some of these spikes and stuff, they're kind of there. Granted, the movie Megatron is a bit more organic, but as we'll see in the tank mode, yes, there's an homage there as well. So I think somebody kind of went with that idea, the idea of all-powerful Megatron. So I kind of get it. So in a way, this can also be your G1-styled movie Megatron. So we're going to pause, going to readjust some things, and now the instructions show you going from jet to both robot forms, and then tank. I'm going to go jet, tank to robot. It just makes more sense to me. So we'll pause, and we'll be right back. Okay, I just gave myself a little more space. So the first thing you want to do is come into these little shoulder spikes, and you're going to rotate them towards the front of the nose cone. You're then going to go ahead and just flip the nose cone up, and then wiggle, jiggle, and remove it. Continue to fold what was the cockpit for the jet mode all the way back. Now what you want to do is rotate up these wings just to get them out of the way. Separate the legs if they haven't already. I do have to mention that the leg connections are not as wonderful as they should be. I think that was even a problem on Galvatron. And go ahead and rotate the figure around at the waist, basically bringing the tracks, which unfortunately are supposed to peg in to the side of the legs and really don't. As you can, oh, that one's holding now, but it's kind of loose. So now what you want to do is angle the legs up. There are holes in the kneecaps that are going to peg into that tab right there on the arm. And just going to get it in. You want to have it somewhat angled. Use your finger to get in there and massage the joints. And yeah, I think that's about as good as you're going to get. Try to keep everything, you know, rotated and centered. The next step, what you want to do is bring the wings down. You're going to fold them up. They fold in half. There's a tab here, slot on the inside of the wing. That will just peg into place. Same thing here. Oh, and of course, be careful not to separate everything you just did. Once you leave the tank on the ground, the treads tend to stay put. Now we're actually going to get to the tightest joints on this figure, and it's right here in the front of the, what was really the front of the jet. It's also Megatron's fusion cannon. We're going to split it open just like this. The sides will peg it right there. And these right here are the strongest tabs on this figure, bar none. What I do is sort of pry the gray sections around so you can flip this section up and then just reach in. And this is the hardest part of the transformation. Flip out these tri-barrels right there. Close that section back up. Fold that back section down. And turn it over. And now using that tab post right there, peg it into the underside of what was the cockpit. And there you have the tank. And as I mentioned, I see it now. I clearly understand where Revenge of the Fallen Megatron's design came from. I mean, I think theoretically, if you wanted to, you could flip those wings out for a flying tank mode. But I get it. I understand. And I think that's kind of cool now. And if this was something that people figured out years ago, please don't tell me that I'm late to the party. But not much going on in the tank mode. The turret here, the tri-barrels can raise and lower slightly. You can sort of rotate it, but it is what it is. So now we're going to go into the robot mode. So let's go ahead, remove this section. Now, for Super Megatron mode, the tri-barrels here are usually left in. You know, you don't see them, you don't do anything with them. So what I'm going to do to make my life easier, because you do remove them for Ultra Megatron, is I'm just going to go ahead and pop this out right now. It just pegs in, and again, tightest connection on this entire figure. And you want to have that little post there facing downward, because this will peg into the shoulder without the groove showing. So we'll put that aside for right now. We'll close up this section, make sure that back part is down, and just close up the front barrel here. And this is his fusion cannon. We can put this off to the side. Now, going to robot mode from tank mode isn't that difficult. Go ahead, come down, straighten out the legs, peg them into place, flip out the feet. Same thing right here, bing a bang a boom. Rotate, flip the treads in, come around, rotate the legs so they're facing forward, bring up these shoulder bits, rotate the spikes out to the side. I mean, if you want to rotate them back, you can. I'm just following what the instructions say. And then come in and rotate out the fists. They're on faux ratchets. Very tight. Almost as tight as those posts on the gun. Ooh, yeah. There you go. Some people are going to love that little Transformers ASMR. So, there you go. You got, we're just about done. Come up here. Flip down that track piece. Open up the chest. Flip up the head. Rotate the chest piece around, because we're in Super Megatron mode. And there is Super Megatron. Final edition. Come in here and just peg the fusion cannon onto the arm. And there you have Super Megatron in its robot mode. Fine looking figure. But as you can see, we're starting to see a lot more of the Galvatron mold. You have these like shoulder missiles right there, kind of cool. You have that giant fusion cannon. Nice tech design there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this real quick. Because we're going to have to transform it for Ultra Megatron mode. And I will go ahead and bring in Galvatron himself. And you can start to see some of the similarities. Basically, from the waist down, Super Megatron and Galvatron are the same. The same thighs, same hips, same thighs, just painted differently, highlighting different aspects. Whereas Galvatron has just panels here on the back of his leg. Megatron has those treads. Oop, he's starting to lean back a little. That was my fault. One thing here, let's see if I can kind of show this easily. Yeah, I can just fold that up. If you notice right here, there's like a clip piece. That's that whole section right there where that back section that would be the cockpit of Galvatron's jet mode pegs in. So that's even there. You know, they just held on to it. Obviously, the shoulder pieces are different. Now, in terms of arms, the arms are, believe it or not, the forearms and fists are the same. The double elbow joints they look the same at first glance. They have the same greebling and details, but they're actually different because Galvatron's here is two pieces. You have that little purple section right there where this is all, and it's clearly a separated piece. This is all one piece here on Megatron. The chest pieces are different, even though they basically work the same way. Same hip armor right there. Now, if you go up, this is where things get a little bit different. The bicep joints are different. The biceps are changed due to the nature of Super Megatron having to, peg the cannon in and what have you. They're kind of close. I mean, I want to say it's almost, well, no, because you have those 5mm ports on the front. You have one here on the side, and then you have a post. But the shoulders are the same. Also, if you notice, you do have the Titan Master pegs all over the body. So they really, just by changing the paint around, you kind of think there's more new here than there isn't. More new here than there is. Hooked on Phonics worked for me. But really there isn't. But I am impressed by what they did. So let me go ahead and remove Galvatron. And now we're going to get into Ultra Megatron. And I said getting this part out was the hardest part of the transformation. Actually, I think changing the head is. So what you want to do is just grab a hold of the figure, and I'm going to try to do this on camera. Flip up the face. Just, by the way, FYI, this extra chin section, sideburn section, does pop out. It's okay. It's on a clip. I actually took that. I had that come out on me. It doesn't make anything better. And really what you want to do now is rotate, not the face, but Megatron's headband. And, oh good, I did it. Oh, there you go. try not to close it up. So now you have the red jewel right there. Let's just come in and peg the tri-barrel turret onto his shoulder. Tight connection right there. There we go. Come around the back, fold the wings out. Now, some people who know a lot more about Super Megatron than I do have said that the wings should be higher. I think there are some ways you can fiddle around with this. I'm just following the instructions. Also, once you have the wings open, it does sort of affect the clearance of the arm, especially with the new fusion cannon, which, just go ahead, pop this open like we're going into tank mode. Flip this section down. This becomes the barrel of the cannon, and just going to go ahead and peg it on. Just like that. And there you have Ultra Megatron, the more super-powered version of Super Megatron. And like I said, there is a little bit of an issue with the clearance, with the wings. You're going to have to, like, angle them back. There is a little bit of, like a friction there, so they will hold, and it doesn't look that bad. Personally, I think I kind of enjoy the way Super Megatron looks. I like having the cannon here on the shoulder, but I prefer the Super Megatron fusion cannon myself. Speaking of which, there is one more version of Megatron. Oh, I almost forgot the most important part to going for Ultra Megatron. Rotate the chest panel around, and boom, now we have Ultra Megatron. There he is. Oh, yeah. Look at that detailing. Look at that power. Yeah. Hulk up. Yeah. I'm so silly. But as I was going to say, there's actually one more version of Megatron. The most powerful version of a Megatron. Specifically created for this figure. I am talking about, dare I say it, Omega Megatron. Basically what you're going to do now, flip the head back again. This time you're going to rotate the face around, just like so. And you will be revealing a face that looks very similar. Oh, let me make sure I get that all the way down. Very similar to the face battle mask that Megatron had in the last night. This is a nice little bonus. I don't know if Megatron is the official name. I think that's what some fans have started calling it. If I'm wrong, please tell me gently. But I think for this, we can just go back to using the traditional fusion cannon. And there you go. Not the biggest fan of the face, but it is what it is. I'm just happy that I had an easy time changing it. When I first got this figure, it was like really hard to change those faces around. So that's about it for Super Ultra Omega Megatron. We'll pause, and we're back with my final thoughts. One thing I wanted to show real quick is that if you do want to store the fusion cannon there on the back, you can, where it would peg in for the jet mode. But yeah, I kind of dig Super Megatron. For a lot of people, this might even be their Megatron, since the Siege and Earthrise Megatrons were just a little flat, especially that Earthrise Megatron. I think it will fit in well with Siege, and more Siege than Earthrise, but it is what it is. If you have that Generation Selects Star Convoy, they're actually meant to go together, which is a little odd since Star Convoy is actually much bigger than this mold. But yeah, now even though I dig it, it's actually not going on display on the shelf. I just have so much coming in that I need the space, and it's unfortunately just going to get transformed back into jet mode and put back into the box. But that's not to say that it's not a great figure. Yes, there are some flaws. Um, the tabs here in the leg in jet mode don't hold together as well as I like. The tabs to hold the treads in place don't hold as well. There's actually no pegs holding the chest in place. And something tells me that's a holdover from when there was a spring gimmick for Galvatron's faceplate. But other than that, I mean, it's not falling over. The joints aren't terribly loose. I do find it funny that the tightest joints are, changing the head and removing this tri-barrel turret. So if you are interested in getting Super Megatron, it might be available again soon at Hasbro Pulse. This is being recorded on January 5th, 2021. I know they had pre-orders, but they sold out and the figure came and went. I got mine from TF Source. I think it might even be available at Big Bad Toy Store. eBay, they're actually like going for like $175 to close to $200. Definitely not worth it for this figure. So keep an eye out. Maybe down the line, there'll be some not a sale, but interest will wane, and you'll be able to get it for a more reasonable price. But definitely to have, I think it's worth it just to have a piece of Transformers history that a lot of people never really thought they would see. Especially with the US release of the Transformers manga collections that are available on Amazon. Those are the Japanese comics where Super Megatron, Ultra Megatron lived and died, basically, because it never appeared in animation. So, if you like this video, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. While I always appreciate the views and will always hold them in higher esteem, the liking, commenting, and subscribing sends cosmic messages through the algorithms to YouTube saying my channel should be promoted and exalted and held upon high. If you really want to support my channel, there's a link here in the card here in the corner and in the description below for my Patreon, www.patreon.com/ChuckDog1999. No thrills, no tears, no special rewards. All I ask for is $1 a month to help me help you to literally bring figures like this to you. These special limited release select figures, if they're not really available at mass retail, kind of go for a little extra money, and I have to go through different channels to get them than saying Amazon, where I can just blow gift cards on them. But definitely, if you can't do Patreon, you can't do the $12 a year, watching my videos is always welcomed and loved and exalted. This is your old pal Chuck for Super Megatron. We will see you next time.